It's party time. What's up? It is Tuesday, which you know what that means. It is Monday's hangover. We'll get to some things that we didn't finish up with yesterday. People were upset about my take on the Barbie movie.
Really? Caused quite a stir, did you?
I guess. I mean, you know, I try to peddle what I feel, you know? I don't lie to people. I try to put the stuff out there that are my convictions, and is what it is. I mean, is the Barbie movie third wave feminism? Yeah, it is. But believe it or not, I'm able to buck up and be tough enough to read through it and still get other messages out of it, which is what I was trying to communicate. Anyway, neither here nor there. Don't go see it. I don't care.
You know, people just can't take the intellectual content we put out.
Yeah.
You know, you probably went over people's heads.
Bro, listen. Even though I come in here, it's still summer of Chad. It's July. Even though I come in here looking like this, dressed the way that I am, it's still pretty genius, the stuff we put out there. I got to be honest with you. You know, that was some fine analysis from who put that movie out? Warner Brothers?
Yeah, Warner Brothers. So
people were saying, man, they must have dropped a fat check on Prather to give such a glowing review. But then I had some people, some conservative influencers who sent me messages saying, hey, that was a fair analysis of the Barbie movie. I can't believe that as a 50-year-old red-blooded American male, complete, as far as I know, heterosexual, that I'm still spending this much time talking about the Barbie movie, but yet here we are. And then there were others who were a little bit pissed off on my analysis of Jason Aldean, which I thought was fair. I thought that was fair. Again, my point was I don't go to Jason Aldean for, you know, my philosophical, political guidance. I do admire the stand he's taken. Now, let me just say something I didn't say yesterday. Well, two things, actually. Two things I did not mention about Jason Aldean. One, I sort of think Jason wishes his wife would shut up sometimes because she's the outspoken one. Like, she's the one who's stirring up all the controversy with the clothing and the calling out, you know, the transgender and putting the, you know, she's the one, when you read the captions of the quotes on the memes, it's quoted by Brittany Aldean. Yeah, so sometimes I think Jason's like, man, I wish Brittany would just be quiet. But in all fairness, they're standing up for what they believe in, and you got to give them a pat on the back, a tip of the cap, a pat on the ass for that. I mean, I do appreciate the fact that they took a stand in the winds of very contrary, liberal, progressive, whatever culture in which they live, and said, no, this is what we believe, and we're going to stand by it. So I appreciate that. Second thing is, a lot of people want to come down hard on Aldean because of the Route 91 Vegas shooting that happened. So if those of you who remember when that happened a few years ago, which, again, we still don't know what happened. I mean, that's a whole other rabbit trail we could chase when you start looking at you know, these nefarious things that our governmental tyrants here in the quote United States are putting out there. Still don't know any of the details of what truly happened at the Vegas shooting. But Jason Aldean was on the stage when the shooting happened, and afterwards he said, you know, something to the tune of, maybe we have too many guns in this country. And a lot of people jumped his ass for that. And again, that's not the philosophy that I take, as you know. I am a wholehearted Second Amendment shall not be infringed, tattooed on my ass kind of guy. But you can't really judge somebody until you've been shot at. When the bullets are hitting down around you, you're going to do a lot of things that you might not do when you're sitting in the confines of an air-conditioned, safe space studio like I am. I don't always shit my pants, but in that situation, I may indeed shit my pants. A lot of people call Jason Aldean a coward because rather than using the microphone to warn everybody that a shooting was happening, I mean, you know, the guy's raining down bullets from, Mandalay Bay or wherever it was. There was Mandalay, wasn't it?
It was Mandalay Bay.
Yeah. And you're supposed to have the wherewithal in the microphone to go, hey, everybody take cover. he ran off the stage, which most people would do. And it's a tragedy. I mean, it was a tragedy. And I had friends who were there. I had friends who were on stage. I had friends who had just, my buddy Josh Abbott, the Josh Abbott Band, they had just performed. His guitar player, and I talked about back when I was with another podcasting group, I had Josh Abbott on the show, and we talked about his guitar player because his guitar player at the time came out and said, yeah, we got to do something about this whole Second Amendment thing. Well, he also came back later on and said, all right, heat of the moment, I said some things with the bullets raining down. It scared me, and I said some things. So all that to say, don't start judging too many people until you walk in their shoes. I'm willing to have a little mercy there, a little bit of grace. Speaking of shitting your pants, I have a friend who has a friend. Let me just say this. Okay, I got a connection in the Secret Service who has informed me 2 weeks ago, and I haven't brought this up because I don't want to out anybody in regards to. But anyway, they have started carrying diapers because allegedly the last big fall, Joe Biden shit his pants. Allegedly. Now, it comes from a reasonably good source who would know. So if anyone wants to pop off and say, you know, Blaze TV's Chad Prather accuses the president of shitting his pants when he fell down last time, I'm a comedian. This is a comedy show. All the asterisks, all the disclaimers, all the footnotes to say, allegedly, shit his pants. And an unnamed source in the Secret Service has declared they are now carrying diapers.
I think we got to come out with a Chad's Pads version of Depends for the president. Depends for all the octogenarians we have running this country into the ground.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's amazing that we let this happen.
Is it an impeachable offense if the president is known to be shitting himself?
Well, you know, you would think incontinence could be drawn up in the articles of impeachment. And, you know, if you have a loose sphincter. I mean, first of all, the fact that you can't stand up, you know, that should be a reason enough to say, okay, this guy shouldn't have the nuclear football. He can't stand up. He's being taken out by sandbags. The fact that Joe Biden, and we'll get into this a little bit more, but because Kevin McCarthy's now brought something with a little teeth to it. I don't know they're going to do anything on this impeachment thing, but they tend to not. The fact that Hunter Biden is considered the piece of garbage in the family, when his dad is such a glaring example of this whole thing. When you start looking, and again, we talked about this yesterday, the people who say, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Look, guys, what evidence do you want at this point? Because, Kevin McCarthy, he says that the investigations into Biden and his family's business dealings are, quote, rising to the level of impeachment inquiry. I think they're there, Kevin. I think they're there. The IRS whistleblowers, which, I mean, by the way, did you guys watch any of that testimony of the IRS whistleblowers? The guy says, listen, I'm not only a Democrat, but I'm married to another man. Boy, that took the wind out of some people's sails right there.
Yeah, he really pulled the double minority on him.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead and check the big boxes, bro. You know? And, I mean, that guy just basically said, I had gay sex with a Democrat last night. And then went off and testified and said, yeah, this is my conscience.
That's an awesome caveat, by the way. What a 2023 caveat.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm not a Republican testifying. Yeah. I'm a homosexual Democrat.
I'm a homosexual Democrat. But again, Biden said he never talked about his son's business, and he did. I mean, he did. The evidence is there that he did. And again, is there anybody out there truly that doubts it, that he was peddling influence? I don't know if you guys, I think that people out there are naive when they think, I'll tell you this, let me put it this way. I had people, when I ran for governor, I had people who said, Chad, if you ever won that, you'd be set for life. You'd be set for life. You'd never have to worry about anything. And basically, I think that's true. I mean, it's almost like being the quarterback for a major university. I think those guys graduate, and I think their jobs are pretty much set for the rest of their life. Let's say somebody is a football player for the University of Georgia, and he graduates, maybe he plays a little pro ball or whatever. Maybe he doesn't. They're set for the rest of their life. I mean, there's going to be some, and I think that's the way it is with these politicians. I mean, somebody out there is taking care of them. How in the hell can a congressman, a senator, whoever make $175,000 a year and then come out of office with tens upon tens upon tens of millions of dollars? I mean, really? Where is that coming from? They peddle their influence. They peddle their power. That's exactly where it comes from. And you can try to justify it all you want. And hey, if they're so squeaky damn clean, then release their tax returns every single year that they're in office. Let's see a full disclosure of their financial statements. Every single bit of it. Because people were telling me, again, when I was running for governor, I think the governor of Texas, I think his salary is like $150,000 a year. And just full disclosure, that's a pay cut for me. That's a pay cut. I'm very blessed. I have 9 businesses. I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed. I work very, very hard. And that would be a pay cut for me. And we were making a joke about that. Because people were like, oh, you're just going after, wealth and all. I was like, no, that's actually a pay cut to be the governor of Texas. And they were like, yeah, but. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but. But again, I wasn't doing it for the money. In fact, I had a very prominent person in Texas politics that voted for. I had a couple of them, actually. If I said their names, it would shock you. And they called me on election night. And they said, we voted for you, and we believe you were the only person out there running for the right reason. Believe that if you want. I believe I was. I have a clean conscience when it comes to that. These politicians that stay there, they're 90 years old, 80 years old. I mean, we're being ruled by geriatrics. I'm going to tell you what's happening. This is my analogy, okay? I was thinking about this when I was traveling this past week. Think about like the NFL. The NFL has the head coaches and stuff like that, right? The head coaches they're not the team, right? We tend to think that these head coaches, like our politicians, those are our senators. We think the head coaches are the ones in charge. They're not in charge. It's the front office. It's the owners. It's the league. They're the cabal. They're the elite. They're the ones who truly. I mean, what's his name? That's the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. You think he's running the show? He ain't running the show. Jerry Jones and his family are running the show. They're the cabal. They're the elites. That's what's happening in Washington, D.C. We got these puppets in office. They're the head coaches. And we say, yeah, they're the ones that are in control. No. The power players that are out there, they're the ones who are doing it. There's the front office people. They're the real executives. They're the ones that control the purse strings and everything else. And they prop these people up there to get what they want done. And then the little bureaucrats out there, they're the football players. They're the people out there that are actually playing the political game, these bureaucrats who aren't elected. They're just hired and selected by the head coaches and the front office people. And the bureaucrats are out there running the plays. And you and I, we're just sitting in the stands watching the damn thing and forking over our money for exorbitant ticket prices. That's our taxes we pay. And we really have no say in how the game gets played, the length of the game, the calls that are made. We can bitch about it all we want, but at the end of the day, we're so far removed from Jerry Jones, we don't have anything to do. We just sit in the stands and bitch at each other. You happen to be wearing a blue jersey. I happen to be wearing a red jersey, and I'm pulling for my guys out there and my team. And at the end of the day, my team doesn't give a shit if I live or die, as long as the ticket prices are still getting paid, and I'm buying the souvenirs and paying for exorbitant drinks in the stands. Does that make sense? That's where we're living.
I can even add one more. If you go back to the 70s, 80s, 90s. When if you got hurt, they took you to the locker room, shot you up with some shit to make you not feel anything, and they're like, yeah, go back out there and play.
Put them right back out there.
Now all those dudes are brain dead and can't walk.
Yeah, that's
But
fact.
they sold tickets.
Fact, and I know a lot of those guys too. So again, it's fodder. They're just chewing. The bureaucracy out there is just chewing it up, and we're just sitting in the stands like watching a gladiator movie. And every now and then they entice us with some big play or some trickery, or we get to see a cheerleader dancing around on the sidelines, And that we're like, oh, we keep coming to the games. All right, guys, right now the world's changing in a lot of uncomfortable ways. I just described a very uncomfortable scenario to you just now when you talk about the political game. But look at the natural disasters. Look at the political and the economic disasters that are out there. Are you prepared if anything happens, like in a moment's notice? I mean, suddenly, boom, there's a power grid down or whatever, or there's a supply chain shortage, and you have no warning. And you're not, The Rock isn't going to come save you. The smartest thing you can do right now is invest in your emergency food supply. I want you to go over to preparewithchad.com. Some of you have been putting this off. Don't put it off anymore. Scrape together the money if you need to, but this is important. You go over to My Patriot Supply. They've got a deep discount going on right now. Their 3-month emergency food kit, which you need one for every member of your family. They're going to give you 25% savings, all right? That's a good deal. It's a big discount, one of the biggest they offer, and it doesn't come along every day, and it's not going to last forever. So 25% is the discount on a 3-month kit that you need, and every person in your family needs it. I promise you, you will not regret having it. It will give you some peace of mind. Go to preparewithchad.com. The savings are built in at that website, 25%. Go before the sale is over. Preparewithchad.com. We'll be right back. All right, so we found out this morning that LeBron James' son, Bronny James, who is at USC, right? He's playing basketball, and he's in stable condition, but he did have cardiac arrest. He's out of ICU, so thankful for that. There were a couple of people who made a couple of jokes about it, and I said, yeah, let's keep it classy. LeBron James is a douche, I understand. But you don't want anything bad happening to people, especially their kids. And but that said, I mean, when I say that an 18-year-old, I mean, you gotta figure Bronny James, which is LeBron's son's name, Bronny. You got to figure he's a genetic specimen. I mean, his dad's one of the greatest athletes of all time, right? You got to figure that fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. They don't just let people go play basketball as a freshman at USC. He's ranked 20th in the 2023 ESPN 100 rankings. 6th rated point guard in the class of 2023. It's pretty solid. I mean, when you consider at 18, his father was already headed into the NBA. He skipped the whole college thing. So it's a healthy kid. So immediately, where does your mind go? Oh. Those people that get pushing for, what was it? Oh, the vaccine. We're going to see more and more eyes are going to be open to this thing because of the medical tyranny that was pushed on us these number of years. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. This sounds mean to say, but we're going to see some tragic things that are going to happen in the days ahead and the years to come. You get mad at me. You could throw water on the fire alarm when the fire's over there. But yeah, we have tried to warn the masses of people. You can call us alarmists. You can call us misinformationists, malinformation. That's what Robert Kennedy said they're accusing him of. They're banning Robert RFK Jr., They're banning him because when he testified last week, he said it was because of malinformation. So they're accusing him of putting information out there that's actually bad for people. It could harm them. There is a documentary, a docuseries coming out. It starts tomorrow on the 26th. It's called Remedy. My friends Ty and Charlene Bollinger. Ty Bollinger, he put a lot of stuff out fighting against the treatment of cancer. They've banned him everywhere. In fact, he's like on a list of the most banned people in America. The Biden administration has him on a major list. But I'll tell you what, if I ever got cancer, I'm calling my buddy Ty Bollinger and saying, hey, well, they have a new docuseries comes out. It features Peter McCullough. It features RFK Jr. and a number of others. It's called Remedy, and it's talking about the vaccines. It's talking about all this stuff. It comes out tomorrow. There's a website. If you follow me on social media, particularly Facebook or on Twitter, the link is there. They've got a special website that you'll be able to go to and watch the docuseries. And they're busy right now. We'll get Ty on the show at some point to talk about this thing. But you're going to see some tragic things. in the days ahead. God forbid. Listen, I don't care. I love it when people, they come at me on Twitter and they say, well, Chad, he's vaccinated. No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not vaccinated. It just strikes me wrong at the idea that universally everybody in the country was suddenly supposed to take some experimental drug and put a chemical in their body when medical treatments are not uniform for everybody across the board. But that's what they ask everybody to do. Sorry, I got a little more common sense than that. And I know a lot of people, they felt pressured. They felt coerced into it. They felt like they couldn't go visit, grandma at the nursing home or whatever. So they got the vaccine. Whatever your reason was, I'm not judging you for doing that. I'm not judging you for doing that. But see, the problem is the world judged me. The world pushed me. The world pressured me. And I continue to stand up and speak out and say, you guys need to be careful with this. And it's one thing to get vaccinated, but then, however many boosters later, and you're pumping yourself full of these damn chemicals. And I hope this isn't what happened, but I got a feeling, and you do too, that when a perfectly healthy 18-year-old collapses of a cardiac arrest, you got a clip there, boys. You got, here's a soccer analyst. This is live TV on ESPN. Play 16.
Summer, he's been left behind. He's on the naughty step from PSG. He's not gone on the tour of Japan. What have you missed? What do you see? Shaq! Wait, we need some help. We need medical. Okay.
We're seeing these things, right? I mean, we see this stuff more and more.
It's starting. I don't know exactly who it's going to take. I thought Jamie Foxx was going to be the one that really did it, and I think that did a little bit. I think this one will slowly start breaking that too, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
One, I'm not sure who it's going to take for the rest of the world to be like, hey, maybe we should look into this.
Yeah.
And I'm also not sure any of these people are going to be willing to admit it.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
See, they've been so hoodwinked, and their pride will never let them admit it. Their pride. I mean, that's why you look at what's happening with a guy like Ice Cube.
Yep.
Right? Ice Cube says, listen, man, I'm turning down millions of dollars on these deals because I wasn't willing to go and get this crap pumped into me. And what are they doing? I mean, this is Ice Cube. Ice Cube's A-lister, dude. And he speaks out against it, and they're like, no, sorry, brother. You're going against the club, man. And it's bad stuff. And then you got the Jamie Foxx thing, which, okay, we can speculate. Is it Jamie Foxx? I mean, how did his ears change? How did his jawline change? How did his eyes change? And for crying out loud, how did he become light-skinned?
Right? You and I were talking about this yesterday. White people, if you don't go outside, you're going to get lighter. With black folk, that's not exactly how the melanin works.
No.
Yeah, so unless he got like Michael Jackson's vitiligo because of whatever happened. But yeah, it looks significantly different. And remember, his new movie, They Cloned Tyrone, just came out.
Yeah. Like a couple of years ago, Carrie Underwood, God bless her, Carrie Underwood, she went under the knife, had a little work done, and I think they, and she kind of stayed hidden for a while. She was like, I'm coming out looking a little different than whatever. And apparently she didn't, whatever. She got some work done. And I kept thinking, maybe Jamie's in there getting some work done. But no. You don't put a movie on hold. You don't put a major motion picture on hold with an A-lister like Jamie Foxx and say, oh, he's going to get some work done. And he's getting some lightning treatments. No. Play clip 14, please.
First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody that's prayed, man, and sent me messages. I cannot even begin to tell you how far it took me and how it brought me back. I went through something that I thought I would never ever go through. And I know a lot of people were waiting, or wanting to hear updates, but to be honest with you, I just didn't want you to see me like that, man. I want you to see me laughing, having a good time, partying, cracking a joke, doing a movie, television show. I didn't want you to see me with tubes running out of me and trying to figure out if I was gonna make it through. And to be honest with you, my sister Deidre Dixon, my daughter Karine Marie saved my life. So to them, to God, to a lot of great medical people, I'm able to leave you this video. I cannot tell you how great it feels to have your family kick in such a way. And y'all know they kept it airtight. They didn't let nothing out. They protected me. And that's what I hope that everyone could have in moments like these. Now, by being quiet, sometimes things, get out of hand. People saying what I got. Some people said I was blind, but as you can see, the eyes are working. The eyes are working just fine. They said I was paralyzed. I'm not paralyzed. But I did go through, I went to hell and back. And my road to recovery had some potholes as well. But I'm coming back.
And again, before we go any further, yes, I do believe that's Jamie Foxx. It's fun to talk about, though. It's fun to talk about. Again, what happened when they interviewed Damar Hamlin after his collapse on the football field is, and he says, well, I don't want to talk about that. When he's sitting down with Michael Strahan, I don't want to talk about that. Why don't they ever want to talk about this? Why don't they ever speculate? Oh, well, I mean, we watched him talk for 3 minutes right there. We still don't know what happened.
No, and it sure sounded like he thought he was going to die.
Right.
Yeah.
So when that happens, again, what do I always tell you? The conspiracy theories come in when there's gaps. Well, shit, tell us. Now, you don't have to tell us, but because, that's your private information. That's your private health. I get all that kind of stuff. But, I have people all the time I had somebody just this week who said, well, I don't understand why Jason Aldean gets on the stage and doesn't just say, okay, I didn't mean for it to be racist. I apologize. Or whatever. Not apologize, but you know what I'm saying. Just explain himself. Well, I say, well, he doesn't have to explain himself. There's nothing to explain. So I get it. When the medical community, I could say the same thing about this stuff with the vaccine. Why don't people come out there and say, hey, maybe it was something along those lines? But they're not going to say it. Again, we leave all these blanks, and of course, there's no such thing as a vacuum, so we rush in to fill it with our ideas. It just makes me concerned because so many people have just been bamboozled by this thing. They've just been bamboozled. And when we come back, I'm going to take a break. When we come back, kind of makes you wonder why Barack Obama's personal chef fell off a paddleboard and drowned.
Oh, yeah, we got to get into that.
Well, they're about to do a toxicology report on him, and we'll find out. So we'll get into that here in a second. All right. Hey, guys, you got to clean your guns and go buy a bunch of guns, first of all. I got to go by Texas Gun Experience right now, fill out some more forms because I got some suppressors coming in. You got to clean your guns, and when you got a lot of guns, it can be a pretty big job. And I like to find an efficient way to clean my guns. That's why I love using Barrel Buddy. Barrel Buddy is a really cool new solution. Now, Barrel Buddy, it will fill the interior of your gun's barrel when you push it through with the rod, and it'll clean the rifling grooves as well. It's got different sizes. It'll match any caliber firearm, and it's composed of polymers that won't leave behind the residual particles. So it's an amazingly safe concept. So it'll scrub, it'll collect the particulates, absorbs residue, buffs the interior surface clean, lubricates the firearm while you're cleaning it. And again, it's an important step of being a responsible gun owner to have a clean gun. So try Barrel Buddy. I think you're going to like them. If you want to take care of your firearms and you want to protect your investment and make sure that they are ready at any time, go to barrelbuddy.com. That's barrelbuddy.com. We'll be right back. So the former president's personal chef, he was a White House sous chef, and then apparently the Obamas hired him as well, Tafari Campell. Well, the Obamas did pretty good for themselves, didn't they?
They cleaned up nice. Another one of those politicians who surprisingly has a huge bank account.
Well, what is it Bernie Sanders said? You got to write a book. You got to write a book. If you write a book, you'll be rich like me. But he was apparently paddleboarding. And this was, Sunday? Something like, it was Sunday. It was in the evening, 7:40 p.m. The people who saw him, they said he was dressed in all black. It could have been a wetsuit or whatever, I don't know, and he was wearing a life preserver, which is unusual. Claims are that he's a good swimmer, and but he fell off his paddleboard and he was missing for like a day. I think they found him. I think they found him after a day, and he had drowned. So that's a sad deal. Of course, everybody's immediately speculating, the Obamas, was Hillary Clinton there? Yeah. The Obamas had him. He knew too much. He saw Big Mike in the kitchen. I'm thinking that if I am a former president and I need to get rid of someone, it's not going to be right outside the house, right? I'm not going to drown them in the Great Pond right there by my $12 million estate. But who knows? So they're going to do a toxicology report to find out, which, again, we're curious to see what happened. I mean, you wonder on something like that, will they ever let you know the cause of death? Will they test for vaccines? Maybe he had a cardiac arrest. We don't know. Maybe we don't know. Fell off and, you have a cardiac arrest, you fall off, you could possibly drown, even if you're wearing a life preserver. I don't know. The mind goes crazy. It's
very eerily a Ted Kennedy situation.
Yeah.
My big conspiracy theory is they say it was his cocaine at the White House. Because he's gone. He can't deny it.
We can't fight back at this
That toxicology report will come back suspiciously testing positive for amphetamines.
He at the 4th of July celebration? Sad. And I don't know. You want to live in a world that, God, doesn't have this kind of stuff going on, but it does. And Karine Jean-Pierre, though, she confirmed. I mean, Joe Biden is coming after your appliances. So it was he wants your car, he wants your gas stove, and now it's your hot water heaters. Play clip number 1.
On appliances. So from this administration, we've seen them go after gas stoves, air conditioning units with regulation, refrigerators, washing machines, dishwashers, now water heaters. How many more home appliances will Americans eventually have to replace then because of regulation?
So just to be clear, when it comes to water heaters, and it is proposed, what has been put forward, and if it is enacted, it would not take it into effect until 2029.
Well, there you go, 2029.
How nice. We have 5 more years before it's cold showers, everyone.
The appliances Joe needs to be going after are things like pacemakers and wheelchairs and stair lifts for Air Force One, because he can't navigate the 26 steps. He got to take the 14 to the lower body of the 747. But yeah, they're coming after your water heaters. This is silly at this point. I mean, again, what are they doing? I mean, it's all one big distraction, right? And like Eric Adams, well, New York is now banning like plastic ware and stuff. Like if you get, if you eat at a restaurant, like you get DoorDash and they send you the little plastic knife, the plastic fork, they're going to start, they're banning that.
They're going to give us plastic knives and forks too, like those godforsaken paper straws.
Yeah, they're horrible. Which is fascinating to me that you go to California, they give you a paper straw and it's wrapped in plastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing to me.
Oh, the In-N-Out, I went to my frequent spot. They wouldn't give out the paper straws because everybody hated them so much they got tired of the complaints.
Yeah. And you got to give kudos to In-N-Out making it a company policy where they've banned masks.
Yep.
Now, a lot of people push back on that. I ate at In-N-Out yesterday, as a matter of fact. A lot of people they push back on that. They said, oh, well, you were against mask mandates. No, you're for mandating no masks. Yeah, I am. Call me a hypocrite, but I get what I want.
Well,
no,
you're advocating for normalcy.
Yeah, I'm advocating for normalcy. I don't want somebody that's, again, so stupid, man, so dumb. Did you see that? Oh, God, I don't want to get into that. I was on OAN yesterday with Jim Nels and Kara McKinney. She has me on her show from time to time, and Jim was filling in for her. Jim was a guest on this show recently. And we were talking about this stuff. It really, is that what's going to save New York? is banning plastic spoons and forks and knives. I mean, that's really the problem in New York City. Rampant crime, ridiculous homelessness, poverty, and just the huge discrepancy between the haves and the have-nots. But by God, we're going to get rid of the plastic forks. The stupidity that is being paraded around in our world these days is such a far reach that I don't even know what to do with it anymore. Like, did you see, you keep seeing these people, especially in Europe, who go and they throw stuff on art, right? They throw the paint on the art, or they glue themselves to the concrete or the asphalt. Like, there's the people who did it, that they glued themselves to the asphalt on a runway, and now they got to get their hands cut off.
I think there was actually more than one group that did that.
Yeah. They can't get it off of them, so they have to amputate their hands.
Yep.
Now, I can count on one hand how many times a ploy like that has worked. They can't. They can't count on that many hands. But I'm like, and these activists that are sitting in the road to block traffic, like, you got to be doing that crap in Europe, because there's no way. Like, that wouldn't happen. Try that in a small town. Doo-doo, was that a dog? No, it was the climate activist. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen the brush guards on the front of our pickup trucks. We won't even know you were there.
You just turn the windshield wipers off and wipe them off the front of the car.
I was coming out of the Houston airport I'd parked out in economy, the economy parking lot. And my truck is pretty tall. It's pretty big. It's got a pretty big brush guard. If those of you have seen it, it's a Road Armor brush guard on the front. It's a monstrosity that they stuck on there. And this attendant, you go and you pay the thing, and the little bar goes up and you drive out. And one of the attendants, this little guy, the bar goes up, I'm kind of looking at the machine, and I turn to drive forward. You take your foot off the gas, it's in drive, it starts to roll forward. And there's this guy in his little orange coat, and he's right in front of my truck. Like, literally right in front of my truck. If it had rolled 6 more inches, it would have bumped him. And I stopped, and I slammed on the brakes real quick. And I was like, dude, my bad. I'm like, I didn't see you there. Like, I literally saw the top of the white hair just go in front of my truck. I can't imagine these people, say, come into Texas, and they're going to sit in the road and just be like, we would never even see you. We're not even going to see you. Did you see the clip the other day of the lady who's trying to take her kid to the hospital? And these climate activists, these morons, are sitting in the street. And I love the videos where the dudes get out and just grab them by the hair and drag them and toss them over on the sidewalk, and then they come back. No, what you got to do is you drag them over to the curb, and then you curb stomp them. Yeah, you just break something, You're probably saving their life. You're telling me I'm being mean. No, but that's a much more compassionate way to be. And then they can take Relief Factor. Everybody deals with pain from time to time. You've got it. I've got it. It's a guarantee you're going to have it, right? Don't just sustain it and deal with it, but do something about it. Do something about it. And I recommend you give a shot to Relief Factor. It helps me. I love it. The pain that you have is usually the inflammation that's in your joints. The older we get, the worse that gets. I was talking to somebody last week in Cabo, and was talking about back when I played baseball, I was a catcher, and he said, do you have knee problems? I said, no, I have ankle problems. And again, it's inflammation in the joints. You take Relief Factor as directed, it may change your life. Now, it was developed by doctors. It reduces the inflammation, and the great thing is 70% of the people who take it keep on ordering it because it works for them. So if you got the pain, try the 3-week quick start. It's $19.95. It's a trial pack. Go to relieffactor.com or call them at 800-4-RELIEF. That's relieffactor.com. We'll be right back. So yesterday was National Tequila Day, or as I call it, Monday. And any excuse to drink tequila basically is when I'm breathing. I love the stuff. I like it a lot. I drink it every day of my life. I've told you over and over again. That's why I don't get COVID. It's a tequila, zinc, and cocaine protocol. And every time. But I was trying some new tequilas yesterday, and it was a good day. And yesterday was National Tequila Day. I went to the little hotel the little boutique hotel I like to stay at when I'm here in town, and they have a really cool tequila bar in there, and it was good. So check it out. Hey, speaking of that, if you want to drink some tequila with me and you're anywhere near the Pittsburgh area, I'm going to be in Oakmont, Pennsylvania next week. That's the 4th of August. Get your tickets now. Come hang out with us, and headed up north of the Mason-Dixon line. It's been a minute since I've been up there. In fact, it was pre-COVID the last time I was at the Oaks Theater in Oakmont. So looking forward to seeing everybody up there. And a few shows are surprisingly sold out fast that I've got coming up. The show in Waxahachie in a couple of weeks was September 9th, I think. That sucker sold out. I didn't even know it was selling so good. And boom, there it is. So there's a lot going on this weekend. I'm in Coleman, Texas, sold out. Which is good things, good stuff. Did you guys see, speaking of sellouts, did you see the U.S. women's soccer team and how they behaved for the anthem? Certain things just piss me off. And a lack of respect in regards to things like that just really get on my nerves. You've probably seen the clip. Play clip number 8 real quick, if you got it. So you got a full team. 1 out of 4 is putting their hand over their heart. 1 out of 3 maybe. And that drives me crazy. All right, enough of this. I love going to baseball games with my buddy Steve Helms because he always finds the guy who doesn't have his hat off. Hey, right here. Take the hat off. And Steve gets off on that. Like, he loves to call people out. I'm like, Steve, you do your thing, man. Did you see that kid from, what was it, American Idol that sang for the All-Star game, the Major League All-Star game, and he didn't take his hat off when he sang it? Boy, he got ripped a lot of shit.
No,
I mean, he's like 19 years old, and he sang the national anthem and didn't take his hat off. And he apologized later on. He's like, I was nervous.
Look, I mean,
I'll give you that.
There's 2 things that are like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Hand over the heart and take your hat off.
Yeah.
If you don't want to sing, fine.
Right.
But we can do a little bit. It's only like a minute and 30 seconds.
Right. It should be only a minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless Mariah Carey's singing it.
Yeah, unless you get a little artsy with the end there.
Yeah, that is the one bet that I won this last year at the Super Bowl, was that Chris Stapleton would not take 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Or you're Jimi
sing.
Hendrix and you're really having a good go at it.
Yeah. But at minimum, use a little respect. When I see these guys, and I mean that when you are playing, representing yourself, or your country, I should say, with the World Cup on a global stage, and you're selected to be a part of that. You're an elite. You're very privileged. You're very taken care of. Again, if any one of those girls got arrested in a foreign country, like Brittany Griner, who are they going to call? Suddenly, they're going to get a lot of respect for America. And so that's the kind of thing where it's like, look, if that's the way you want to treat the country that's treated you so well and given you so many opportunities, and that's your lack of respect, then I don't call on that country to bail you out when that time comes. And you know what? Here's the thing, kids. One of these days, you are going to want and need and enjoy the privileges that America affords you. regardless of what discrepancies or equities you feel that this country is leaving out or leaving behind, I promise you, you're better off than any other country on the planet. You really are. I know people can say, well, but in Switzerland, then go to Switzerland. Go to Switzerland. I promise you, you are not going to like. I've been to Switzerland, and wow, beautiful country. Got some great things. Got some pretty people, but you know what? It ain't America. It ain't America, and you move over there for 6 months, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Trust me, you got it pretty damn good here. All right, guys, while I'm warning you about all the things that could go wrong in our world, what would happen if suddenly there was a global medication supply chain shortage? Like, for instance, you couldn't get your antibiotics. What if just suddenly they disappeared right before your eyes and you needed them? Now, most of the medicine that we have in this country, unfortunately, is manufactured in places like China and India, and they're going to take care of themselves and the worst happens. So when all of a sudden that happens and you or someone you love needs antibiotics and they're not there, you're in trouble. So what you should have is a supply already on hand in case of a disaster. I do, and I have mine with Jace Case. Now, the Jace Case is from Jace Medical, and they have it's a great way to prepare yourself for the worst scenario like I just described. They send you 5 different courses of antibiotics that will treat a long list of bacterial illnesses, a lot of things that can go wrong. And it's a great way to be ready for shortages. It's good to have one for travel. Listen, don't get caught unprepared. So I want you to go to jacemedical.com, enter code CHAD, I spell it Chad at checkout, promo code Chad, JASE medical.com. Check them out. We'll be right back. Hey, if you're feeling bad about yourself, you could go to Philadelphia. Philadelphia's actually got a new thing coming out. It's going to be the first convention promoting obesity. It's called FatCon. Can't make it up. FatCon. It's featuring a guy named Superfat, who is a fat therapist.
Wait, is he an obese therapist, or is he a therapist for fat people?
He's both. He's super fat. The buffet gonna be lit in Philly, boy. You go over to Gino's for a steak sandwich, man. Hell yeah, bro.
They're gonna eat the town dry.
It's gonna be a line, dude. Yeah, it's gonna be FatCon. FatCon.
We need some man on the street content from that. Can we send Alex there?
No. Because the last time Alex started throwing around hot dogs, he got his fight canceled.
Yeah, but at FatCon...
And this time he might get his fingers bit off.
At FatCon, they might like the hot dogs.
Yeah. Oh, it's stuff you can't make up. Subscribe to Blaze, blazetv.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad. Save on an annual subscription. Go over to watchchad.com for all the fun stuff is. Tomorrow's hump day, and we'll be here for it. We love you. God bless you. Bye.